Hey folks, how's it going? This is Mike. Welcome back to another movie log to show you what I've been watching recently. And let me start off with a Criterion Collection film that I bought between the sales, so I paid full price for it a few weeks ago. Carnal Knowledge from 1971, directed by Mike Nichols, screenplay by Jules Pfeiffer, with a great cast of actors in their young prime. We have Jack Nicholson, Art Garfunkel, Candice Bergen, and Margaret. A brief appearance by a very young Carol Kane, may have been her first film, and another actress that I don't know much about. Her name is Cynthia O'Neill, who's also very good at this. So, Carnal Knowledge. Full disclosure, I actually saw this movie back in 1971 when I was 20 years old. And it was a film that I didn't really enjoy watching. It was very depressing, very downbeat, filled with just sad people, and Jack Nicholson was such an unlikable character that it's not one of those movies that you left the theater thinking, "Wow, that was a great movie. Let's go home and have a good time." You just want to go home and forget about it. So all these years later, I've been more and more curious about the films of that era, late 1960s, early 1970s, when I was, 18, 19, 20 years old, and how I would react to a lot of the films that I saw back then. Some that I liked, films like Easy Rider and The Graduate and the last. No, I didn't see the Last Picture Show. I didn't see that until not many many years later. But I did see Five Easy Pieces. I did not see Bonnie and Clyde. I did not see the Last Picture Show. Uh, didn't see. Well, yeah, I did see this. Um, so anyway, I'm trying to revisit that time and that culture, and with my much older perspective. So I wanted to see this again. I was very curious, and I thoroughly enjoyed it this time, not because it was a pleasant film to watch, but because it was fascinating. And I was a little surprised there was so much of it that I remembered. And it, it it it's an indictment on the sexual revolution of the 60s, which went on into the 70s when things really got crazy. And of course, um, we those of us who were young then, we all jumped into it, some more than others, some a lot less than others, and we're all living in the aftermath of that revolution. I still don't know who won. I don't think anybody did, but it's a great film to watch. I still think that Jack Nicholson's character is completely unredeemable and unlikable, but it doesn't take anything away from the brilliance of his acting. Top acting honors go to Anne Margaret, who has never ever been better than she was in this film. I mean, she's really something. And considering that she was sort of a light uh, musical comedy sex symbol before this. I mean, she really exposed herself in more ways than one. Wow, just a great acting performance, and she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress and should have won. Okay, so if you are looking for criterions to buy now for half price and you haven't seen this, give it a chance. All right. Next up is a film that I picked up at the last Kino sale, and it's The Country Girl, 1954, starring Bing Crosby, Grace Kelly, and William Holden. And I always had kind of a bad feeling about this movie, even though I'd never seen it, because Miss Kelly won Best Actress that year over Judy Garland in one of my favorite films, A Star Is Born. So I always had kind of a negative feeling about Grace Kelly in this movie. I was never a big fan of Grace Kelly. I've seen a handful of her movies. I think she's attractive, but she's not what so many people. There's a cult around Grace Kelly as if she's one of the great stars of all time, and I just never felt that way. I think she's okay, and that's about it. However, I wasn't expecting to be blown away by this, but I was. She was fantastic in this movie. She's deglamorized during most of it, and gives a great performance. A very, very hard hitting, dramatic performance. Perfectly matched by Bing Crosby, whom I was not expecting to be a good dramatic actor. And this is something he probably had inside of him all the time. but and William Holden also. So it's all about Bing Crosby playing kind of a washed up alcoholic musical theater performer who is trying to make a comeback in a play, a musical produced by William Holden, who needs a named star, even though he doesn't really like this guy. He doesn't think he's going to come through. So Grace Kelly plays the guy, the actor's wife, and she's very downtrodden, and she's been putting up with this guy for a long time. But it's obvious how much she loves him and how much he needs her. And so she is at odds with not just her husband, but also with the producer all throughout the movie. Great dialogue scenes between Holden and Kelly until they inexplicably fall in love, which in a way doesn't seem believable. But yeah, it's a great movie. William Holden is always good, but I wasn't expecting Grace Kelly and Bing Crosby to be this good. So yeah, great movie. I still think Judy should have won the Academy Award, but what do I know? Next up is another film that I picked up at the Kino sale. This is a film called Tommaso, starring Willem Dafoe, which is the reason why I bought the film. I didn't know anything about it. This is the first movie I've ever seen directed by Abel Ferrara, okay, who is apparently one of the big directors of the time. Um, I like the movie very much. It takes place in Italy. Willem Dafoe plays a young American film. Well, no, he's not young. He's an American film director living in Italy with his young wife, or maybe she's just his girlfriend. I don't know. And they have a cute little girl, and he's trying to get another film made, and he's also going to alcoholic support groups, dealing with all this stuff, and he starts to have a breakdown. It's very well done. Willem Dafoe is terrific, and I think that it falls apart at the end. It has an ending that I think is so almost offensive. It's so ridiculous that it takes away from the rest of the film, unfortunately. So if this is what Ferrara does with his movies, I'm not sure I'll be approaching his filmography anytime soon. But this is worth seeing. Willem Dafoe is an actor that I've seen not nearly enough in my life, and I need to see more of his work. So it was worth it for that. Okay. Next up is a film from 1965, directed by Sidney Pollack, that I'd never seen, and this is from Olive Films. Picked it up from the Hamilton Book Company, and it's called The Slender Thread. Here we go, The Slender Thread. Sidney Poitier and Bancroft, Telly Savalas, Stephen Hill. Written by Sterling Sullivan, music by Quincy Jones. Also, Edward Asner is in it. And wow, I wasn't. I don't know why I waited so long to see this movie, but it's very, very good. Sidney Poitier plays a college student who, in the evenings, is volunteering at a suicide hotline. So keep people on the phone who are calling for help. And Anne Bancroft has taken sleeping pills, and she calls him, and he's trying desperately to keep her awake and to find out where she is, and to get all this the team of police and all these people trying to look for clues to help her before she dies. It's really a very good, very exciting film. Black and white photography, great locations in New York City, and great intense score by Quincy Jones. So yeah, two Academy Award winners, Poitier and Anne Bancroft, doing a great job together. The next film I have, all I have to show you here is this little envelope. It's a DVD-R of a Universal film from 1944 called Destiny, which has kind of a strange background. Destiny was originally, or at least most of Destiny, was originally supposed to be part of Flesh and Fantasy, which is a trilogy of stories from Universal in 1943. What eventually became Destiny, the film released in 1944, was supposed to be the opening story, and for some reason they decided to cut it. It was about 23 or almost 30 minutes long or something like that. I first heard about it in this terrific book that I picked up back in 1978, The Golden Age of B Movies, and I had never heard of it. I probably hadn't heard of 90% of these films. this is the beginning of my love for B films and obscure films. And I've been wanting to see Destiny for a long time, and I just never could find it. But I finally found it from an online seller who has a reasonably good print. It's very watchable, sounds good. But what they did was they took this fairy tale story starring an actress named Gloria Jean, who was an up and coming child teenage star at Universal, soprano. She was doing light comedies and musicals as sort of an answer or successor to Deanna Durbin, who was one of the biggest stars at Universal at the time. But Deanna Durbin was getting older, and they wanted a younger version of Deanna Durbin, so they got Gloria Jean. She's really, really good, along with an actor named Alan Curtis. And in this film, the setting is kind of a fairy tale setting, very much modeled after Snow White. In fact, Gloria Jean is made up to look like Snow White. She plays a blind girl living in the woods with her father, completely in sync with nature and animals and plants. They kind of bend toward her when she walks around. And anyway, this man played by Alan Curtis uh, comes into their life, and he starts to get very amorous with her, and he's a bad guy, and nature takes its revenge on this man for trying to hurt this enchanted young lady, right? So that's how it ends in the original story. And what you see at the beginning of Flesh and Fantasy, you see this man's dead body because he has drowned, right? Nature has made him fall into the water and killed him. What they did was they decided to use the footage from this very short story and surround it with more footage of Alan Curtis, and they brought Gloria Jean back, and they made it into sort of a crime thriller slash film noir, and gave it sort of an unbelievably happy ending. And it's all done by a different director. The original director was Julien Duvivier, who directed everything in Flesh and Fantasy, and Reginald Laborde was brought in to direct the rest of it to make it into a longer film, and it was still only 65 minutes long. So it's definitely kind of a quickly made B movie with this fairy tale segment in the middle of it, which didn't seem to fit, and yet it's still fascinating. So if anybody has ever wanted to see Destiny, I'll put a link to the trailer below. You can find the trailer on YouTube, and I just waited many years to see this, and I'm very glad that I did. So I'm babbling now. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you soon. I hope that you will leave comments and let me know what you think. Take care, folks.